Attorney May, you shall be the counsel for the prosecution.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you may proceed, ma'am, when you're ready.
Good morning, Mr. Ortonio.
Good morning, Mama Imbuntag.
Earlier, you said or you confirmed that no PFP or the no PFP was attached to the August 2022 letter request of the OVP to the DBM. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct, ma'am.
Okay. And the reason for this was because at that time, it is not being required by the joint circular to attach the PFP to that letter.
Based on my understanding, ma'am, attaching the PFP is not required to the letter request, ma'am.
Thank you. Nonetheless, when the DBM asked for documents in response to that request, you complied and submitted documents, correct?
Yes, that's correct, ma'am.
And you submitted those documents through your letter dated September 9, 2022.
Yes, through our transmittal letter to the DBM.
Thank you. And the DBM, in fact, accepted your subsequent transmittal.
Yes, that's correct, ma'am.
And the DBM did not say that those documents which you transmitted on September 9, 2022 were not compliant with the joint circular or with the law.
We did not receive any comment, ma'am, regarding the submitted PFP.
And the DBM, in fact, did not reject your submission.
No, ma'am, we did not receive any comment from the DBM.
And you will confirm also that the DBM even recommended the approval of your request to the Office of the President after your submission of those documents, correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct, ma'am.
And your request for additional budget was actually approved by the Office of the President.
That's correct, ma'am.
And in the process of approving your request for additional budget, no issue whatsoever was raised by either the DBM or the Office of the President regarding the documents that you submitted.
We did not receive any comment regarding the submissions that we've made.
Thank you. You were also asked yesterday regarding the good governance program that was mentioned in the PFP for the fourth quarter of 2022. Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
And as someone who supervises the Administrative and Financial Management Office of the OVP, you confirmed that the confidential funds for the fourth quarter of 2022 was requested to ensure the safe implementation of the OVP's good governance program.
That's correct, ma'am.
And the confidential funds were not used to fund the good governance program in itself, but the implementation thereof.
Yes, that's correct, ma'am.
Now we go to the 2023 PFP, which I assume you also recall. The 2023 PFP indicated that the phrase socio-economic program delivery instead of good governance program. Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
And the socio-economic program delivery is a program of the OVP for the 2023?
Yes, yun po yung parang encompassing program title for all the projects of the OVP.
For the year 2023?
For the year 2023.
Again, the confidential funds for the year 2023 were not used to fund the socio-economic program itself.
This time, Your Honor, I will have to object.
Not yet done, Your Honor, the
Not
question. Yes.
Kindly finish your question, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. The confidential funds for the year 2023 were not used to fund the socio-economic program itself, but the safe implementation thereof.
Your
Yes,
Honor, I will
that's
have to
Counsel
correct.
for the
Your Honor, we
prosecution.
would like to-
Before the witness answers, the answer of the witness is stricken off. Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. The question, this witness, Your Honor, based on his answers yesterday is incompetent to testify on that. Why do I say that, Your Honor? First, this witness admitted yesterday that it was the Vice President herself who requested the confidential funds. And second, Your Honor, he himself explained that he had no participation whatsoever in the disbursement of said confidential funds. So this witness, Your Honor, by his own admission, is incompetent to testify where the confidential funds were spent or what the confidential funds was spent on or were spent on.
Quick reply, Your Honor.
Yes,
Yesterday, yes, the witness also testified that he is the administrative and financial management officer. Sorry, Your Honor. He is the supervising officer of the administrative and financial management office of the OVP, and that all budgets, as a general rule, are being approved by him, Your Honor. And he, in fact, participated in the request for the confidential funds in the year 2022, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I may just make a very quick rebuttal.
before the chair makes a ruling, yes.
Your Honor, we've heard it straight from the horse's mouth. The statement of this witness yesterday was that that was the general rule. Since that is merely the general rule, there are exceptions. And he also mentioned, Your Honor, that confidential funds is not among those funds that went through him.
Your Honor, quick reply.
We've dealt this too many exchanges already, counsels. If the witness knows, he may respond, and as you very well know, Attorney May, sometimes a hostile witness may give a different answer on cross, which is a proper subject matter for redirect, if ever, when your time comes. Witness may answer, yes, Mr. Antonio, you may respond to the question.
Thank you, Your Honor. The way I understand the question is that the confidential funds was not used for any of the regular programs of the OVP under the socio-economic delivery programs for the 2023. So with that, sir, I can say yes, the confidential funds were not used for the purpose of the implementation of the socio-economic programs of the OVP in itself.
And you know that information by virtue of your position, not only as the Assistant Chief of Staff, but also as the administrative and but also as the Supervising Officer of the Administrative and Financial Management Office of the OVP.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct, ma'am.
Thank you. The socio-economic program can be found in the 2023 General Appropriations Act.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
confirm that?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct, ma'am.
Okay, and it's a line item, in fact, under the 2023 GAA.
Yes, correct, ma'am.
As the Assistant Chief of Staff of the OVP, were you made aware of the reason why the Good Governance Program was changed to Socio-Economic Program Delivery in the 2023 PFP, if you know?
Based on my recollection, ma'am, there was a change in the term in the program title from good governance to socio-economic program in 2023, so that it encompasses, parang mako-cover nung title ng program yung all of the projects of the OVP, because because all the programs of the OVP addresses yung socio-economic concerns that the office would want to address.
Thank you. Let's go to the AOMs and the notice of suspension. You testified that as the Assistant Chief of Staff, you drafted and signed the replies to the AOMs received by the Office of the Vice President for the fourth quarter of 2022, as well as the first to third quarters of 2023. Do you confirm that?
Yes, that's correct, ma'am.
And you also signed the OE's response and supplemental response to the notice of suspension dated December 13, 2023, relative to the fourth quarter relative to the confidential funds for the fourth quarter of 2022. Do you confirm
Yes,
that?
that's correct, ma'am. I'm one of the signatories.
And because of that, you have studied all of the AOMs as well as the notice of suspension.
Yes, that's correct, ma'am.
The AOMs sought clarification on the liquidation documents of the OVP, correct?
Yes.
The AOMs and the notice of suspension did not contain the phrase, if you recall, did not contain the phrase misuse of funds, if you can recall.
Based on my recollection, ma'am, I cannot recall.
Your Honor, original documents rule, Your Honor. Your Honor, and
Well,
I know Your Honor, I know
Counsels, we can move on because before your objection, witness already said that he cannot recall. So move on, Attorney Christine.
thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, and in those AOMs, can you recall if there was any finding of misuse of funds?
Already asked and answered, Your Honor.
I'm asking about findings, Your Honor.
Witness may answer. She's asking about findings, counsel.
Based on my understanding, ma'am, no misuse, ma'am, although there were certain clarifications that were made.
Thank you. And the notice of suspension also does not contain any finding or findings on the misuse of funds.
None that I can recall, just some clarifications, ma'am.
Thank you. And the AOMs and the notice of suspension were not final findings of the COA-ICFAO when it comes to the confidential funds of the OVP. Do you confirm that?
Yes, ma'am. That's my understanding, ma'am, na once we receive the AOMs, we are given opportunity to send our comments.
Thank you. In fact, if you know, there is a pending motion for reconsideration before the commission proper relative to the notice of disallowance covering the confidential funds for the fourth quarter of 2022, if you know.
Objection, Your Honor.
Before
That
you
was-
answer, Attorney May.
Your Honor, that's no longer covered by the direct examination. The rule for the cross-examination of hostile witnesses under Rule 132, Section 13 is different, Your Honor. What can be covered on cross-examination of a hostile witness are only those matters that were covered on direct examination. At no point was a mention of petition for review ever made during direct examination.
The court will give counsel sufficient leeway on cross. The court would also like to find out about this petition for review, which was discussed with the witness, Gina Acosta. Witness may answer.
Sorry, again, ma'am, the question, ma'am.
Yes, I'll repeat my question. If you know, there is a pending AR on the note, there is a pending motion for reconsideration of the notice of disallowance covering the confidential funds for the fourth quarter of 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
Misleading, Your Honor. Your Honor, move to strike, Your Honor, because I wasn't given enough opportunity, Your Honor.
Will
Enough
the
time.
witness kindly wait just for a few seconds before answering? Yes, what is the ground of the objection, counsel?
It's misleading, Your Honor, because a petition for review, it was not on, sorry, it was not, it was not.
I'd rather repeat my question, Your Honor.
Kindly repeat,
If I
Attorney
can.
Christine.
Yes, thank you. In fact, okay, if you know, there is a pending motion for reconsideration of the notice of disallowance covering the confidential funds for the fourth quarter of 2022 before the commission proper of COA.
Your Honor, again,
Yes,
this
counsel.
witness will be incompetent to testify on it, Your Honor. The participation of this witness in the filing of the petition for review has not yet been established. It wasn't even established yet, Your Honor, that this witness is even aware of the contents of the petition for review.
Your Honor, the court already ruled.
If he knows, Mr. Otoño, if you know.
I am aware, Your Honor, but as to the specifics on the reply to the or the contents of the MR, I'm not very much aware of the contents.
Thank you. As to the first to third quarters of 2023, a notice of disallowance was issued by the COA dated March 31, 2026. If you know.
Yes, that's correct, ma'am.
In fact, you are the person who received the notice on April 8, 2026 on behalf of the Vice President.
Again, Your Honor, with all due
That's-
respect, that's already going beyond what was discussed on direct examination, which is prescribed under Section 13, Rule 132, Your Honor. At no point did we discuss the notice of disallowance for the last three AOMs. The discussion during direct examination were limited to the notice of suspension, up to only the notice of suspension.
The chair will note will convert the objection counsel to a continuing objection with respect to the line of questioning of Attorney Christine on this witness, but the court will allow it, but notes the continuing objection of counsel with respect to these notices of disallowance that were issued.
Thank you,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Antonio, please answer.
Ma'am, can you repeat the question, ma'am?
Okay, I will repeat. A notice of disallowance was issued by the COA on dated March 31, 2026, relative to the first to third quarters of 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are the person who received the notice of disallowance on April 8, 2026 on behalf of the Vice President.
Yes, ma'am. I received the document on behalf of the President as the Assistant Chief of Staff.
Okay, thank you. Under the rules, if you know, since you are the one who also responded to the AOMs, under the COA rules of procedure, the OVP has 6 months from its receipt of the ND or the notice of disallowance to file a petition for review with the Commission proper of the COA.
Objection, Your Honor. This witness will be incompetent. Unlike the joint circular, Your Honor, which he specifically mentioned in his replies, Your Honor. There was no mention whatsoever of the COA rules in any of his replies.
If you know, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Attorney Christine, move on to, we get your point. You can move on to your
Okay,
next
Your Honor. I will continue. Now, your involvement when it comes to the OVP confidential funds were, kindly confirm each item. Number 1, processing the request for the confidential funds for the fourth quarter of 2022.
Misleading, Your Honor. There was no statement to that effect during the direct examination.
Attorney
Your Honor,
Christine?
she asked for the functions, Your Honor. She even presented the documents, Your Honor, pertaining to the
But at no point,
confidential funds of 2022, Your Honor.
If I may, Your
which
Honor.
the witness also processed. Thank you.
Yes, Attorney May?
if I know, there was no, again, that's misleading, Your Honor, because I never asked about the participation of this witness in that request. In fact, he himself explained, Your Honor, during direct examination, that the request was purely the Vice President's. He had no participation whatsoever in the request. He is only aware that a request was made because of that letter that he was confronted with. That's why throughout the direct examination, his answers would be limited to what is contained in the documents.
Well, if he knows counsel, and again, this would be a ripe subject matter for your redirect, if he all of a sudden regains, if all of a sudden he remembers, it is a proper subject matter of redirect. Witness may answer.
Ma'am,
Your Honor, yes, I will repeat my question. Your involvement when it comes to the OVP confidential funds were, number 1, processing the request for the confidential funds for the fourth quarter of 2022 as evidenced by your letter dated September 9, 2022 to the DBM.
ma'am, just a quick clarification, ma'am. When you say processing, ma'am, in terms of
Handling the request.
yes, ma'am. Through my office, ma'am, we transmitted the request to the DBM.
Okay. Signing of vouchers.
That's correct, ma'am. Signing of vouchers.
Signing of checks.
Yes.
Signing of responses to the OMs and the notice of disallowance.
Yes, ma'am.
And acting as liaison when it comes to the submission of the liquidation documents to the ICFAO.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. You were not involved in the drafting of the quarterly liquidation reports of the confidential funds, correct?
No, ma'am.
That work belongs to Miss Gina Acosta, right?
As of my understanding, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
You were not involved in the disbursement of confidential funds, is that right?
No, ma'am.
And also the recording of confidential expenses.
No, ma'am.
The recording of confidential expenses is being done by Miss Gina Acosta.
As of my understanding, ma'am, yes, she is.
And you were not also involved in the confidential operations of the OVP.
No, ma'am.
And you have not met any of the confidential informants of the OVP.
No, ma'am.
Neither did Miss Gina Acosta meet any of them, if you know.
That I would have no not personal knowledge, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. As far as you know, the confidential informants only liaise with Colonel La Chica, if you know.
That is of my understanding, ma'am.
And the reason being is that the information as to the identity of the informants is classified and sensitive under the joint circular, specifically item 3.28.
Objection, Your Honor. This witness has already repeatedly testified that he had no participation in the disbursement of the confidential funds, Your Honor. And yet, defense counsel, with all due respect to her, keeps on propounding questions related to the disbursement.
And this answer, counsel, will always be in the negative because he has been consistent in regard to not having any participation with the disbursement. I think that has been established, Attorney Christine, that he has no participation in the disbursement.
Actually, Your Honor, my question was not about the disbursement, Your Honor. If I can repeat it, Your
Kindly
Honor.
repeat the question,
Yes, thank
Attorney
you.
Christine.
You answered earlier that as far as you know, the confidential informants only liaise with Colonel La Chica. That was your answer earlier. And the reason being, okay, if you know, is that the information as to the identity of the informants is classified
It's
and
the same
sensitive
banana, Your Honor.
under the JC.
Can I just finish my question, Your Honor?
Finish the question, counsel.
Yes. And I will repeat, Your Honor. The reason being is that the information as to the identity of the informants is sensitive under the joint circular.
Your Honor, I raised the same objection, Your Honor. This witness already testified that he has no participation in the disbursement of disbursement and implementation of the confidential funds. Now, defense counsel is asking the reason why the informants did not directly
Your Honor, please.
Chair will make a ruling. Chair will sustain the objection, but not on that ground, but on the ground it is misleading because the witness did not say that it is of a sensitive nature, but that, if I remember correctly, it was confidential. That was the statement made by Attorney La Chica to him. Na
Yes,
hindi niya sasabihin because it was confidential.
Yes,
in
Your
nature.
Honor. We will no longer push the question. Thank you.
Move on to your next point, Attorney Christine.
I'm already done, Your Honor. Thank you.
Are you ready for your redirect, counsel?
Your Honor, may I just have 10 minutes, Your Honor, to organize my redirect, Your Honor, given the number of questions that were propounded on cross-examination.
With the permission of the senator judges,